Hey, y'all. Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to a paranormal podcast. My name is Matt Harvey. I'm the lead investigator and founder of Deep Woods Paranormal. We do a weekly paranormal podcast almost every week. Unfortunately, I'm a little late on doing this one, so I apologize for that. Anyways, hope everybody's staying haunted out there. And today we're going to kind of talk about a whole bunch of stuff. I'll try not to ramble too much about one subject. So, somebody asked me about paranormal evidence review. What's all involved with it? What do you guys do? How do you break down your video? How do you break down the audio? Yada yada yada. And what's your best evidence? God, we've gotten some crazy stuff over the years. When I first started, back when I was in my early teens, researching this stuff or basically experiencing it, being terrified by it, and then of course meeting my wife, who basically I credit her with turning me into a ghost hunter or a paranormal researcher or whatever you want to call me, crypto researcher, crypto creature researcher. So it wasn't until I was about my 19 that I really started researching the paranormal. At that point, I had no idea how big of a can of worms I was opening up. I realistically thought that by documenting what was going on around me and showing it to people, I would get answers. But nope. Instead, I ended up with a whole bunch more question marks. Let me move this camera just a little bit. All right. So, I've been doing this, God, forever, over 30 years. And a little bit of history about me and Amanda. Amanda and I started out when we were she started when she was in her early 20s with me. We started going to, while we were dating, we started going to said to be haunted places, the Whaley House. We frequented the Whaley House, the Queen Mary, and anywhere else in Orange County or California that was said to be haunted. And then other people started joining us, and we kind of became a group. I think we ended up going up to Black Star Canyon one night. That was the very first time I was ever there. And a lot of people told me, that's evil up there. You shouldn't go up there after dark. You'll get harmed or you'll disappear or die or whatever. And that turned out not to be true at all. If you know a little bit about my history, I used to spend quite a bit of time up in the Cleveland National Forest. When I first started, it was mainly to research ghosts. And then one day I became a Bigfoot believer after having experienced that I'm still trying to wrap my head around to this day. I did try and get pictures of it. I didn't, unfortunately, they didn't come out. Every picture I tried to get up there, except for the trail cam pictures, those didn't come out. One of these days, we're going to put together a reel of just evidence, ghost hunting evidence, and that'll be on our YouTube channel. So if you're watching our YouTube channel, stay tuned for that. We're trying to catch up. I am working 12, 13, 14-hour days right now, just because there's so much going on. So editing and breaking down evidence and everything is just taking a heck of a lot longer. So we'll have new videos up here shortly. We're going to continue to do the podcast. The next video coming up of an investigation is the jail, the old jail over in Huntsville. That was insane, just insane how much activity we had. I kind of talked about that last podcast, so I don't want to get into that too much. You guys just have to watch that show when it comes out. And then, of course, we returned to Joe's camp, or I returned to Joe's camp. I basically lived off grid for about 2 days on his property, researching and meeting with other people that also do research in that area. And I mean, just so much information, We didn't document a lot, but we definitely got a lot of information and had a lot more personal experiences that I got on camera. And again, I don't want to go into that too much. But okay, so let's go. Let's kind of venture back here into Matt's and Amanda's history. Okay, so like I said, we went to the Queen Mary quite a lot when we first started. I mean, that was our go-to place. You could go in basically anywhere on the ship at this time. This is God. See, yeah, just about 20 years ago. And so, different people would go to us different times. And of course, when we were in the California Coast Hunters, we were on there like monthly, once a month, doing some kind of investigation with permission down in the old engine room and stuff like that. But we collected a lot of cool stuff from the Queen Mary. One of which being when we went into room B340, and room B340 is actually 2 rooms, believe it or not. It's 2 actual rooms. They took the wall down in between them. And on the right side is where basically the poltergeist activity happens, but the rest of the room also has activity. Supposedly things move around in that room. They basically have cleaned out that room so it's almost empty. They don't let people stay in it. So essentially, we were in there, and I think we were with Erica Frost, and this is right before the Ghost Hunters investigation there, by the way. And so it just felt empty. And then all of a sudden, it started getting on the side that a friend of mine named Marianne and I were on. It started getting thick and heavy, and I'm like, I turned to her. I'm like, okay, am I just imagining things, or does it feel really active in here? Does it feel like it's thick and heavy, which is usually the sign of paranormal activity? So we stayed in there for another half an hour. We were in there almost 2 hours. Nothing happened. And that's the paranormal for you. You go into a place that's said to be haunted, and you sit there and sit there and sit there and, do EVP sessions and, use your K2s and spirit box and all this stuff, and nothing happens. You document absolutely nothing. You spend a whole night in a location, or multiple nights sometimes, and you get no activity. That's just the paranormal. That's what happens. And then, you find out later on somebody else went in after you, and they got all this crazy activity. So, long story short, so we come out of the room B340. We start walking down the B deck towards the bow, and we got about, I don't know, 100 feet down the way, and I just felt like we were being watched. And so I turned around, and I could have sworn I saw something standing at the end of the hallway. And that's one of the things that happens on the Queen Mary is people see other entities, apparitions and stuff walking up and down the hallway sometimes. So I turned around, I took about 12 photos, and this is with an old digital camera. I think this was a 5 megapixel digital camera. And so I started going through these photos when I got home, and I didn't see anything. So the next day I went back through them again because I was tired, and I got to picture number 11, and there's this, there's nobody standing in the hallway all the way up to picture 11. I just snap. And in that picture, there's a black silhouette in the doorway, in the hallway right next to room B340. So something was like, you don't belong here. You need to go, get out, and don't come back. So, yeah, that was a great piece of evidence. Just so you guys know, what happened to me about, 10 years ago? I'm not a skeptical person of UFOs. I do believe there are UFOs of some sort, whether, our government's flying them or it's something else out there. I do believe there's some kind of UFO activity. If you're laughing right now, knowing I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat. Anyways, long story short again, I just had my wisdom teeth out, 2 o'clock in the morning, went to go into the kitchen to grab some Tylenol. look out the window and I see a strange light. And I'm like, oh, I just figured it was a helicopter. And then, as I'm grabbing the Tylenol, all of a sudden I start seeing this flashing blue, green, yellow, orange, purple. And I'm like, what is that? And so I walk over to the window and I'm looking at this, and it just, something started flying out of this ship or whatever it was, this light. And it kept happening, and then the light actually started changing shapes and colors. So I ran out there 2 o'clock in the morning, pointing my big Nikon camera with a 7300 lens, which was not big enough or long enough really to get a good photo of this thing or whatever. And then I had a night vision camera that I put on a tripod. Both these things were on a tripod, and I'm sitting there watching this thing for over half an hour. It only moved what looked like to me 20 or 30 feet. It moved just very, very short distance across the sky in about a half an hour, but it was moving and things were flying out of it. And I recorded this whole thing. So I was all excited. The next morning, I'm stupid enough to essentially put this on YouTube. And that was great until I put it on Facebook. And then once it got to Facebook, essentially, my Facebook account was hacked. At the very same time, my YouTube channel was attacked as well. I had no idea this was going on. I had just logged off, and I went to attach the external hard drive to my computer. And as soon as I plugged it in, my computer just went blank. I'm like, what? So I tried to restart my computer. It came back on, and then it just went into this weird mode, and I couldn't get into anything. I couldn't get anything to work. So I just unplugged the computer, turned off the Wi-Fi, figuring maybe I got hacked, which I did. And it wasn't until about 3 or 4 days later where a friend of mine came over, and he programs computers and all this other stuff. He's like, yeah, you got wiped. And essentially somebody had wiped off all the photos. And granted, I had 20 years worth of data, possible Bigfoot evidence, possible UFO evidence, possible ghost stuff, probably thousands of EVPs, basically wiped off. And then, of course, I was a photographer at that time too. So essentially, all those pictures, all that video, I think it was like 500 gigabytes worth of memory. 99% of it was wiped. I think I was able to still keep a couple of the possible UFO pictures. It was definitely UFO. Now, I'm not saying it's aliens or anything else. I'm pretty sure it struck a nerve, because when I went back on, finally got back on there to YouTube, it was completely, my channel's gone. I had over 1,000 subscribers at that point in time, and I was just putting content up, just raw footage of anything I did, and people seem to love it, which is awesome. So that's why we started the Deep Woods Paranormal YouTube channel again. But anyways, so yeah, that was hacked, and for some reason YouTube took that down. They took the video down. It got deleted. My channel got deleted. They would not restore my channel. I had to start a new channel, and then Facebook, I got logged out, got hacked there too. Somebody posted, I don't even know what they posted, but they sent it to like all of my friends. I have like 5,000 some odd friends on Facebook of lewd stuff. And I'm like, what the hell is this shit? Oh, excuse me. What the heck is this? But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, so I think that was probably one of my best pieces of evidence, especially if it struck a nerve like that. I must have gotten somebody's attention that didn't want me doing that kind of stuff, documenting that kind of stuff. Other evidence, we went to a museum. I can't remember exactly where it was, but we went with our friend Adriana, and we were walking around, and I kept taking picture after picture after picture. This was a newer camera. This was about 14 megapixel, I think it was a little cool picture or something. and the same one I still have today that I use for ghost hunting or sometimes Bigfoot research. Most of the time, I use my big Nikons with the bigger lenses. Um, anyways, so I'm taking picture after picture, and in one of the pictures, it looks like a hand. It looks like there's a hand reaching out to the lens, and behind that is this distorted image of what looks like a Chinese guy um, smiling, and the hand is essentially like wrapped around him. I mean, where the hand was, it looks like it was in the middle of forming. It was like a swishy pattern, and unfortunately, again, that was lost. Um, Another good piece of evidence. I was walking in Black Star Canyon, right by up by the gate. Was walking in. There's a lot of motorcycle accidents out on Santiago Canyon Road, which is only, I don't know, maybe 1,000 feet from where Black Star Canyon is. I mean, if you were standing on the trail and look straight out 1,000 feet, you would be on the road at a straight angle. You know, I think it's like maybe a half mile if you were actually going to drive, but it parallels the Black Star Canyon Road a little bit, or the walking path now. So, anyways, I'm in there and I'm just taking pictures, just up there walking around like normal. I think it was like 10 o'clock at night. Just wanted to get out of the house, just wanted to go do something. So I take a picture, and in this picture, there was no fog, no nothing at this point in time. It was pretty dark, but this misty figure appears, and essentially he's wearing sunglasses. He's got a goatee, and he's got like a Hawaiian shirt with the collar kind of open, and then he's wearing like a biker jacket. And he showed up in my photo, and I'm like, oh, what the hell, you know? I couldn't quite see it on the camera because the lens was so small. It's only like a 1x1 lens where you can see in the back. But when I got it home, I was like, holy moly, that's insane. And then we have also documented boot steps up by that gate. You can hear something like hit the gravel. Doom, doom, doom. You know, the gravel moves right around us. So, I mean, we've gotten so much crazy evidence from Black Star Canyon. If you haven't heard me talk about it, Black Star Canyon is up in the Santa Ana Mountains, or the Cleveland National Forest in Orange County, California. That's just a place where anything could happen paranormally. And it wouldn't surprise me. There's ghosts, there's Bigfoots. Somebody says that there's Slender Man. I don't know if I believe that or not, but, you know, teach their own. It's like I always say, you know, you have to have an experience where you can say that couldn't be anything else but. And then basically, you know, it would have to be proven to you, if you will. So, you know, I always take a skeptical look at things, or I try to at least. So essentially, we got the trail cam pictures of the two different Bigfoots about the same time, 2 days in a row. I wish I would have left the camera a lot longer because, God, who knows what we would have captured. But basically along the riverbed, walking along the riverbed, coming down probably to cross the creek or use the creek. They use it as a highway. So that was really cool. In one of the videos, well, let me just describe the picture. So the first picture, there's a huge eucalyptus tree, and this thing's probably at least 3+ feet diameter. It was so wide I couldn't wrap my arms around it. Couldn't even get the trail cam on it because that's where I originally was going to put the trail cam. Instead, I set it across the way on the embankment, kind of hidden in some dry leaves and sand and stuff like that. So the trap cam was not so visible, but of course they saw it. Thank God they were interested in it, because otherwise I would have never got the pictures. So the first picture, caught about 11:14 in the morning one day, is of this giant arm wrapped around this eucalyptus tree. And then it kind of peers out so you can see like the left eye partially, part of the face, and then part of the shoulder, and that's it. And I'm like, oh, holy crap, I got something. And then, there was about 6 or 7 more pictures and video, nothing, nothing. And I was like, oh crap. So I get to the next morning, about the same time, about 11:14, 11:15 in the morning. There's this thing, standing halfway out. And I'm like, holy crap, there it is. It's a Bigfoot. And the next picture shows it actually, or the next video shows it standing um, in out in the open, and you can actually see the fur on the chin blowing in the wind. It was the coolest thing. Again, that got wiped with everything else. Like I said, I lost 20 plus years of paranormal activity evidence. So yeah, just a cool experience. God, we collected so much other stuff from up there, and then just other places. Another good place from the what was that called? Um, oh, now I'm brain farting. Bear with me for a second. So we went to an old hotel that had been shut down for years. It's on our YouTube channel, and you can watch it there. I completely forget what it's called. Um, Hold on a second here. Not the Woodbine Hotel. That's another good one. Just bear with me for a second. What was that place called? Anyways, doesn't really matter. So we're just talking about evidence in general. So basically, I was wrapping up. The spirit box was just talking, and as per usual, really hard to understand what it was saying, but it was clear. I mean, it was clear. You just couldn't understand what they were saying. And it was a female voice, and I didn't realize until I reviewed the video. Get out, get out, get out. You need to go, blah, 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 blah. And it just kept going and going and going. And so essentially, it was Normandy Inn in, what is that called? That little town, Galveston, Texas. So essentially, as I'm standing there, we're cleaning up. Everybody went upstairs to help grab equipment, break down the cameras and all that stuff. And I had no idea. I was standing there and the door freaking opens behind me. And right before that happens, there's 2 little heads, clear heads that bob underneath the door. And I had no idea what this was going on. And essentially, so that happens, and then the door opens after the little kids go by, and then it basically slams shut. It opened up the way, and that door was hard to open. It was very hard to get that door open. You had to really pull hard. It stuck really bad. The door was a little bit warped, and for it to fly open like it did and then slam shut, that was insane. And that female voice telling me, you need to go. It's time for you to leave. You need to get out. We respected their wishes and we left, but I had no idea we got that video. That was probably one of the coolest pieces of video we've ever gotten. If you want to go back into our YouTube channel and watch the Normandy Inn, we had a lot of things happen in a 2-day period, but it wasn't until we amplified the location with EM pumps all through the house that the house kind of came to life. And once it did, holy moly. All right, so this is getting a little long. Let me get on to the next thing. So they were asking about our best evidence, our findings. Basically, that's the same thing. There's a lot more. I mean, I could go on for hours about all the evidence we've collected over the years. Oh, let me go back to one. An EVP we caught. And this was caught on 3 different audio recorders. So maybe it was more of a disembodied voice, and maybe I just didn't hear it. I'm sorry for the little dog barking behind me. Hey, Tink! Okay, she doesn't care. She's going to keep yapping her little head off. So let's get back into this. We were doing a private investigation in Brea. I'm not going to talk about who the client was or anything like that. We were in the middle of doing what we call settling. Essentially, going to leave cameras and audio and stuff going until, oh my gosh, until for about an hour or so. We would normally go out and grab a bite to eat and come back and kind of, while we were doing that, kind of talk about the house and what our game plan was for doing the research in the house that night and blah, 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 blah. Anyways, we were a TAPS family member team at that point, so we debunked a lot of stuff, or we tried to debunk stuff. Um, so setting up the audio recorders, I went up the stairs, and when you walked up the stairs, it was about 3 or 4 steps, and then there was a little landing. To the right was the master bedroom door. Straight ahead was the master bedroom bathroom, and then to the, as you turned and went up the stairs, kind of to the left, that was upstairs bedrooms and bathroom. So there was an audio recorder on the railing at the bottom of the stairs. There was an audio recorder. I guess it was right behind me in the master bedroom. There was an audio recorder in the master bathroom there, and then there was an audio recorder at the top of the stairs. And all 4 of them caught this audio. And so we were wrapping up and getting ready to leave to settle the house, let the house settle for an hour. And by settle, I mean, like I said, just let the video and everything run. And if we got anything interesting, then we knew, that could not be debunked. Excuse me. So, came back, listened to all the audio, and we were just shocked. One of the pieces of audio that we got over there was of a gentleman who had a heart attack in the house, and we asked them, is there anybody we can contact for you? And they actually said the neighbor. They called them out by name, and we were able to go over there and ask them to come over and listen to the EVP, and they were just shocked. The EVP or disembodied voice from the landing. I was calling out to the rest of the crew. I said, where are you at? And this little girl's voice comes out and says, behind you. And it's at different levels, depending on where the audio recorder was. All 4 of them picked it up at different levels. One of them was super clear, and then they kind of went down from there because they weren't as close. I didn't hear it at the time, but this little girl definitely said that. Come to find out, there was a murder that happened, and this little girl was actually buried under the master bathroom, underneath the house. And so they actually came and found her body and removed her and gave her a proper burial. And the activity kind of settled down in the house. But yeah, that was of all the audio clips I've gotten, I think that was the coolest too. And then, and when I first got my first audio recorder, digital audio recorder, back in the house in Lake Forest, I was sitting there and I wanted to test it out, and I knew the house had activity. That house was pretty active. I wouldn't say it's haunted, but it was active. And so I said, testing, want to see, I don't remember what I said. I want to see if this thing's working. And I got this EVP. Yes, it is. And I played it back and played it back, and I'm like, oh crap. But I mean, all kinds of strange things happened in the house. We documented orbs flying around. We documented shadow people in the house. We documented footsteps on surveillance cameras and all kinds of crazy things. Okay. So normally, if I have time, I usually spend 3 or 4 hours a day reviewing video, audio, all that stuff, pictures, and whatever else we've done. Typical investigation, 8-hour investigation, takes me about usually an hour per thing, an hour per hour of video, an hour per audio, and stuff like that. Unless we're getting a lot of evidence. And like this last investigation, it's taken me forever to get it done old jail because I'm constantly having to stop, clip, um, and post, put information on what I think is going on in the description. So I'm basically writing a damn book. Um, anyways, so yeah, that basically is what it takes. It usually takes about an hour to two per hour of video, audio, whatever. Audio is usually much quicker. It's usually a lot easier to get through. There's usually not a lot of audio clips that are worth saving. Unfortunately, sometimes you get noises that you can't understand what they are. We do sometimes show that to the client if that's one of their complaints or one of the things they've experienced. Um, sometimes we get footsteps, sometimes we get all this cool stuff or voices responding to us. And that's cool. So that usually, it doesn't usually take that long. There's not a lot of audio that we get. Okay. So let's talk about the stupid spirit box for a minute. It's everybody's favorite thing to talk about. So the spirit box, recently on the last couple ghost hunting investigations we've gone to, we've been able to document spirits talking to each other. And I'm not going to get into it too much because you just got to go watch the videos. Go to our YouTube channel. You'll hear it. For the first time ever, I forgot that the spirit box was on, and I left the camera running in the old jail. And we took about a half an hour break to go use the restrooms and whatever else, and came back up, and it was quiet. Nothing was talking to the spirit box, but the K2s were going nuts. And God, I keep adding to this podcast, but I'll just say, and I'll talk about this. Maybe I'll talk about this after this video comes out. But trigger objects, I mean, I've never seen trigger objects work so well in my life. Holy moly. I mean, I was shocked. I think my jaw was on the floor with all of the crazy stuff that happened in that jail. And so far, I'm still shocked by all the audio I got while that video camera was recording the audio coming through the spirit box. We got some crazy crap. I mean, nobody was up there. There was nothing going on. And, we got some crazy crap going on. Voices coming through and saying things, the spirits were talking to each other. And I've noticed that happened at the Woodbine Hotel a few times and a few other places. That's something I never thought could happen. But they're conversing. They're talking to each other. They're having a conversation through the spirit box. Or maybe the spirit box is just picking it up. I don't know. I think more research really needs to be done on the spirit box and how it actually works. Are they just manipulating the spirit box? Or are they, is somehow the spirit box, when it's scanning through all these frequencies, having to pick up the frequency maybe they're on? And that's why all these voices are coming through. I just don't know. It's something that we need to research and something that we need to continue to try and figure out. And like I said, when I opened up this can of worms, I had no idea how deep into this rabbit hole I would get. I can't even see. I lost sight of the top of this rabbit hole years ago. I'm probably close to the center of the earth by now. Anyways, but that was crazy. And then somebody was asking, what gear do we use for Bigfoot research? Because this video is getting so long and this audio podcast is getting so long, I think we'll talk about that at another time. Maybe next week, if you guys are interested in that, we'll do a podcast. I just want to thank everybody. Number one, our podcast is growing like crazy, and that can't happen without you guys. So I just want to thank everyone who is downloading our podcast, listening to our podcast, subscribing to our podcast, subscribing to our YouTube channel to watch the video podcast. And thank you all on our YouTube channel to the people that are subscribing right now. We're extremely grateful. I'm glad you like our content. We're going to continue to create new content. We're continuing to get new opportunities to get into new places. And it seems like every time we get into a new place, it just gets crazier. The evidence keeps getting crazier and crazier. So Just remember that everything you see on our show, on our YouTube channel, of us documenting paranormal activity, it's 100% real. We do not fake anything. I can't stand people that fake stuff. Um, and I don't mean any harm or any negativity towards anybody. I don't like that, especially because we were brought up as a TAPS family member team, and working with Jason and Grant and the other people from their organization. Just it was cool. I love getting evidence, but if it's not real, it's not real. I'm not going to make something up. So, anyways, or act like something's going on that it's not going on. Anyways, I've said way too much already. All right. So, anyways, guys, we'll talk about what gear we use for Sasquatch research, Bigfoot Sasquatch research. Maybe next week. What we'll do is I got to get back to doing gear review videos, and we'll basically be posting like raw video from our investigations on our YouTube channel too, and our what's it called? Also, we'll be posting that on our TikTok as well. So you guys can go there and watch those shorter videos. Most of them are 3 minutes or under, but it's just things that happen on investigations that maybe you didn't see on our YouTube channel, or maybe you didn't watch long enough. But another thing too, if you're watching our YouTube channel, I usually put the best pieces of evidence towards the back. So I know some of the videos are a little long. I know some of you guys don't have a long time to watch the videos, but if you do, watch till the end, because usually things, as the investigation goes on, things get crazier and crazier and crazier, and then sometimes we pick up some cool evidence somewhere. I won't tell you what happened to the old jail, but I will tell you we did get it. And if you're a paranormal researcher, you're going, okay, it's the Holy Grail. We got the Holy Grail at the end during our investigation. So that will be in there as well. That's going to be, the old jail is going to be so full of evidence. I mean, it's just going to be a nonstop evidence reel, essentially, of all the crazy stuff that happened. I'm trying to keep this video as short as I can. Maybe I'll break it into 2 pieces, but all right, guys. Like I said, if you're not a member or a subscriber on our YouTube channel, please go over to our YouTube channel. It's Deep Woods Paranormal. You can find us there under any search. If you don't want to be on YouTube, we do have also a Rumble page, so you can find us on Rumble as well. We also have a TikTok page. And then also, if you want just to watch YouTube or to listen to the audio podcasts or listen to some of our old EVPs or whatever, you can go onto our website. Everything's there. Our merchandise, or everything. Paranormal help is there. If you need help with whatever, Bigfoot, UFO, ghosts, whatever, you can contact us there. deepwoodsparanormal.com. So, all right, guys, thank you for listening. I'm sorry for the longer podcast today. The next one will probably be a little shorter. But again, we just appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for downloading our podcast and listening, or watching our podcast and watching our videos on YouTube and Rumble and TikTok. All right, you guys stay safe. Have a paranormal day, and we'll catch you on the next one.